and the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and it is Saturday, and you know what that means? It's time for all the toy news, action figure news of the week that interested me, that hopefully interests you, and it's the first toy news of 2026. Hopefully everybody survived the new year. Quite the busy new year around this part. You can check out more of that in the podcast this week. But of course, this is a busy time of year, as we know, especially on this YouTube channel, as we're doing our best of season countdowns. I'm in my full-on Western wear. It's truly best of season, and I'm celebrating the best in action figures from 2025 all the way here into 2026. We started our countdown videos, I think, in October with the Great Muta Top 5, but we're talking about all the toy lines we talk about on this channel, counting them all down, all leading up to the final countdown like a young Europe once upon a time, and we're going to count down the best top 10 action figures from all the lists of 2025. So stay tuned to that on the channel. Hopefully this week you guys enjoy. There's gonna be a lot of best of programming here on this YouTube channel. So a lot going down, and a lot going down on Patreon. New month, it is January. Peacemaker is the giveaway, Patreon giveaway, the month of January. All the early access to everything we do between both my YouTube channels, of course, is up there on Patreon YouTube channel memberships. Check it out if you want the Peacemaker. But in a plot twist, anybody that signs up for my Patreon, be it paid or a free member, you do get into the giveaway of the Briscoe Brothers. Ring of Honor, Jazzwares Vault exclusive Briscoe Brothers. That will be a giveaway for anybody that signs up, anybody that's signed up for my Patreon. Check it out, of course. Link in the description down below if you want to enter to get those Briscoes, of course. And then Peacemaker, don't forget that one. One of the best figures of the year, and you'll probably see that in the McFarlane Countdown. So stay tuned for that. Old Todd McFarlane from the couch, of course. Also got to thank Jay's Toys and Games for sponsoring the toy news this week. Use code Kyle, save yourself 15% on all in-stock items. Got to get a deal over there, as I said. But how about we get into the toy news? Let's start wrestling as usual, but this time, no news from Mattel. So we're going straight to the big rubber guys. Beautiful this time of year. Did do the best of countdown this week for the LJN Latuni big rubber guys. Check that out if you did miss that. But January 1st meant new pre-orders. A lot of people thought it was going to be the Rougeau brothers. Apparently not. Some people thought it was going to be the Andre the Giant Ric Flair repaint we talked about a couple of weeks ago. It was not. It is Hillbilly Jim and Arriba Tito Santana, two former LJN alumni, getting big rubber guy figures. Some people say, hey, it's great, I can skip those, I got the LJNs. But in my brain, this is what I wanted for LJNs out of these two characters once upon a time. So these are cool. I will pick these up. I will get my pre-order in, of course. You know how that goes. But in a plot twist, January 1st, where a lot of people were snoozing, they did put up a pre-order, I guess an order, no pre-order. They're shipping momentarily here. It is Haku, one of 1,000 in his Royal Haku gear. Of course, the original LJN we were supposed to have. That went up as an in-stock order, sold out that day. So they have to be happy about that. They're probably a little disappointed they didn't make 2,000 Hakus in all honesty, but I believe that was a Wrestling Collector Shop exclusive that they bailed on. Whatever happened between those two companies, I'm not exactly sure. But that did go to the major guys, so they did sell it on their website in and out. This could be a pricey one. If it sold out that quick, there's probably a lot of people that missed this. You might have been one of them. We'll see what happens in the future there. But Haku, one of 1,000, up and down pretty darn quick, January 1st. We also saw around Christmas a little sneak peek of the future Sergeant Slaughter mold. They showed him in Santa colors, Christmas colors. Not sure if this will be a real figure towards the end of next year or if they're just kind of showing this off, but it looks like we got the new Sergeant Slaughter mold. We'll see that in the future as well. And then this week, of course, I think we talked about it last week in the toy news. Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Mankind, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, a man of many names, as we do know, and a guy that enjoys a good slice of pizza. We also know that as well. He did officially announce he's ending his Legends deal in June, in June, everybody, to let everybody know he wants to celebrate my birthday in style, and let's get some other action figures, let's get some other merchandise starting in June from Mick Foley. And he did say, hey, I can't wait to get my big rubber guy. Have to imagine they're already hard at work on a Cactus Jack. You know there's going to be a bloody variant of that. That just prints money at the end of the day. So we're going to be on the lookout for those. Can't wait. Cactus Jack is my favorite version of Mick Foley. Cannot wait to get a big rubber guy. And I assume, and you know what happens when you assume, Tom McFarlane, but I'm assuming on this one, a bloody variant edition. Oh, take all my money. I just wish we could get a Terry Funk. Hopefully we can get a Terry Funk, just in the old school ECW gear, the King of the Deathmatch gear, something from that time frame. Would love to have that Terry Funk to go with Cactus Jack. Maybe one day. Stranger things have happened, as we do know. But a lot going on for the majors over there. Latoony, not to be outdone this week, they did show off a little picture of British Bulldog coming. So we see a lot of these guys working that circuit. Macho Man, Andre, Legion of Doom, Demolition did until now they're Mattel or WWE, whatever you want to call it. But British Bulldog's another one that's pretty much worked his way around all these companies. Latoony getting into the action there. They're going to have a nice soft goods cape for him. They did show him with the Mattel cape, which is actually too small, as you can imagine. But this should look pretty good. Going to take up a lot of real estate in your collection, though, with his arms spread out like that. But I enjoyed the Latoony stuff. There's a lot of negativity towards the Latoony. I see it in the comments and things like that. I do wish they would get away from, the Macho Man mold all the time with the kind of the inspired by, of course, the Mattel. I want to say Mattel, but LJN, which I guess is Mattel now. Oh, it gets confusing. But a lot of people say get away from the LJN copycat stuff, but I don't hear as much griping about Mattel copying the LJN stuff. At least Latoony is doing repaints on these things. Yeah, you get a Macho Man that's very similar, but at least he's got different trunks on. Mattel's just straight up re-releasing these ones. So it's weird where the people are complaining about, which I think you got to complain about both is what you got to complain. And like I've said all along, at least Latoony's giving us different trunks where Mattel's just doing the same thing. I like them all, but I get it. You like what you like, you don't what you don't. But we got more Latoony stuff coming to the channel too. I did place an order for a few more Latoony figures, so I'm all in on those big rubber guys. You guys know me. How about that? Well, we also saw a boss fight. We touched on it last week. Looks like they got the premium edition of Ultimo Dragon around the corner. Also, Mexican great, Lucha Libre great, Solar coming to the line as well. Which one of those will sell better? I have to imagine Ultimo Dragon, especially with his international fandom. So we'll see where those go. Can't wait to dive into those. I love those boss fight figures. I wish they could just turn and burn them a little faster. But we see that with other companies. Powertown, maybe. We got an update about them this week. A real update and some fun updates. So stay tuned for that later in this video. Figure Collections did send a nice email out giving the 10% code, which I just use code Kyle to save 10% at Figure Collections. But they do have stars and stripes along the way. WCW fantastic tag team once upon a time. Marcus Alexander Bagwell and the Patriot. We'll get those very soon. We're also going to get Crush. Bryan Adams Crush. Sounds like that is shipping very, very soon. We should have that this month. So Figure Collection's coming out with some stuff. Zombie Sailor Toys. He's had it on the back of some packaging for a while. It looks like Chris Candido going to be in hand shipping out very soon. The new Chris Candido. So if you need another Candido in your collection, maybe to represent the Attitude Era or New Gen Era, more like it, you will have a chance at that very soon. We also saw a new company entering their hat in the arena, and I'm not sure how well this one's going to go. Superstar Slammers. Now, Angelina Love, we know from her time in TNA, maybe FCW once upon a time, depending, but mostly TNA. And then Psycho Boy Fodder. I am not familiar with him at all. No clue what he does, but apparently I'm guessing they were in a relationship. It kind of read that way. So whatever way, they are getting retro figures of these two. Now, sounds like they're going up for pre-order in February, but looking at the images, it's like AI images. Personally, I'm going to steer clear until they're in hand or we get something better because I don't want to pay from an unproven company for AI images. Heck, we've seen Powertown. Do we need to mention them again? Maybe not, but no ill will to this company. Hopefully they do well. Hopefully they sell a lot, but they need to get a little bit more out there before I'm willing to fork over some of the dollar bills and Benjamins, whatever it could be. So more on that, I guess, as it comes, but it looks like pre-order in February. This got to be low run. I have to imagine very, very low run. We'll see where that ends up going. We also saw from KWK talking all the retros, and I do have a top 10 retro. We already did the top retro tag teams. top retro single wrestlers will be up on the channel in the next week or so. Patreon members probably have it already. But we got a lot to talk about retro, one of the hardest lists to do this year. But KWK you will see on that list very soon, and we got a little well done update. It looks like there's going to be a well done in yellow. It will be a Toy Fair 2026 exclusive, limited to 216, and apparently they're going to go to distributors and influencers, and I think they're going to work on something. More details to come very soon, but if you are an influencer or want to be an influencer, whatever that means in 2026 or even 2025, Todd McFarlane, you can send a note to them and you might be selected to get one of these sent to you. So that's kind of a cool idea. It'd be interesting to see where that ends up going here in the next month or so, but well done. We never had figures and now we're getting bombarded with figures from them. So expect a lot of well done very, very soon, and only 216 of that Toy Fair one. We also saw from Orient Express, it looks like they're working with another factory to get some of the soft goods, delaying the Orient Express towards the end of January. They're working on Kato's face as well. So some updates to the Orient Express. I'm here for the Orient Express, though. I think that'll be a very fun one. One of those teams in the old school WWF tag team division where you never thought they were going to be a tag team champion, but they were better than the Jobbers. So I always enjoyed entertaining Orient Express. The Entertainment Express, Orient Express for what they were. So we'll see on that. And unfortunately, news, price sells cars, as we do know, but KWK did on their social medias, go check it out, announce a price increase for their next round of figures in February. And that's the world we're living in. There's a lot of price increases going around, unfortunately. Some warranted, some not so warranted, depending on the company. I'm not just talking action figures, but a lot of different stuff going on in pricing, and you could read the KWK message. Nobody wants to pay more. We all work hard for our money, but it's just the natural course of things, as we do know as well. So more to come on that in the future. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Stop the toy news clock. Right as I'm finishing the toy news, I check my messages, I check my email, I check the groups, I check all over the place. And what do I see? It's raining Tanahashi right now. You think he'd be the rainmaker, as we did see Big Rubber Guys Pro Wrestling Tees exclusive going up for pre-order. Tanahashi. I was surprised by that one. I guess I shouldn't have been too surprised with the AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Alliance, as we do know Tanahashi's final match is, I believe, this weekend. Yeah, it's this weekend as I'm filming this. So a lot of people excited about that. Perfect time to release that to capitalize on that momentum. So get your pre-order in over at Pro Wrestling Tees. We'll see when that does end up delivering. But we're not done with Tanahashi, as Ringside Collectibles announced a Tanahashi AEW exclusive. That's nice to point out, because when I first saw it, I was like, wow, the unsanctioned collection continues. Not unsanctioned, not in-house Ringside. This is AEW shipping in September. So that's interesting to note as well. I don't know what that means. It feels weird that it's September. I don't know. I don't know anything more than what we read, but very cool. Apparently that's our next AEW figure, or first AEW figure announced in quite some time. And it being a Ringside exclusive, I would bet bet the house, Todd McFarlane, that we will end up getting that one. So very cool to see that. So Rain and Tanahashi here today, but we're not done. Title Run Toys retro figure line. We knew we were getting Nikita Koloff, and they did show off some differences, some changes, and we got two Nikita Koloff figures coming in the retro line. Nikita, one of those guys, nowhere near enough figures. We got the classic Superstars back in the day, which was actually disappointing at the time. Can't wait to see the Title Run Toys ones. I am hopeful a Pinnacle edition, a Regime edition, hopefully more Nikita Koloffs, and definitely a Big Rubber Guy. There's a lot of different looks I'd love to see. I like Nikita in red, but I always personally preferred the black. Your mileage may vary on that, but some late-breaking wrestling news here as I finish up the toy news of the week. A little bit slow news week when you're talking Foco bobbleheads, which they seemingly pop out a ton of these all the time. But we got a Tori Wilson bobblehead, looking at it like something out of a Sword and Sandal movie from the 80s that you get at the VHS shop. Very crazy it is, one of the pay-per-view posters that they do. We also saw DX with the old DX Jeep. That's an interesting one. So if you're into Foco, check them out. They got a million different bobbleheads over there, and I'm not joking when I say a million different ones. A lot going on in the Foco world all the time. And then how about Asylum Toys? We give Powertown a heck of a hard time, and rightfully so. Asylum doesn't get as hard of a time. I mention them every couple of months here, and in all honesty, their pre-orders predated the Powertown pre-orders, so shame on you, Asylum, but not as much shame as Powertown. And you're like, why, Kyle? Well, you can reach out to the Asylum people at any time and cancel your order. They've been very upfront about that. They've had a lot of issues, obviously, but they did show off Paul Orndorff around the corner here very soon, near in the home stretch, I guess. But I don't take them to task like I do Powertown, because they at least communicate. And at the end of the day, if you want your money back, you can get your money back. If you email Powertown wanting your money back, it's just going to be flapping in the wind. They are never going to do anything. And it's going to be a lot of work to work with your bank to get a refund as well. If you're like me, I'm sticking it out, but I don't like it. I'm at about $1,000 flapping in the wind with them. I did not pre-order these Asylum ones. I pre-ordered Series 1. I did not pre-order Series 2. I'm happy of that. I usually pre-order everything, but I think it's been so long, I think there was a delay or something with Series 1. I said, I'll just wait till Series 2 comes in stock, and that's where I'm sitting right now. I'm going to wait till they're in stock, and I might pick up a couple of these. They were fun. They needed a little bit of improvements, and you can check out all the reviews of Series 1 on this YouTube channel, and we'll see where Series 2 goes. Hopefully some more updates sooner rather than later. But it is New Year's, Todd. We celebrated New Year's Eve in style around this part, but we weren't the only ones celebrating. Powertown was celebrating. It's time for the Powertown update.
Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering?
All right, it's time for the Powertown update, and where does a guy start this week? Of course, they had a huge Christmas party, spent a lot of funds at the Christmas party, Todd McFarlane. Check out last week's video from all the footage. Todd and I went, had an amazing dinner, saw an amazing band, but the New Year's Eve party was a little bit more low-key, but of course, you guys know Powertown. They had the Powertown band there. It is, of course, 80s favorite Opus. We truly know live is life all these years later, but Opus performed that song about 10 times, I think, at that New Year's party. It was absolutely amazing. A lot of footage of them performing. Just quite the band, one of the greatest bands of all time. I didn't say it, Todd, you told me after we left the party. But they had all kinds of stuff going on. They even had some of the Powertown factory workers, which, you think bad of the factory workers sometimes, like they're in a sweatshop or something. But those Powertown factory workers, Todd McFarlane, some of the greatest paid employees of all time. Can you imagine you didn't do any work all year long, but you got paid? That's what they told me. The little one was telling me that, and I guess we had a little bit of their celebration. They weren't celebrating Opus. They had some other song, but we did get some footage of the Powertown factory workers celebrating New Year's Eve. Per the norm with these Powertown parties, Steve Rosenthal and David Hasselhoff, extremely tight, good friends. So then Hoff was there, he was dancing. He was screaming, "Get me a cheeseburger," and we all know the Hoff's love for cheeseburgers over the years. It was just a wild scene at this Powertown party. A little bit more subdued than the Christmas party, but it's a company that has a lot to celebrate about, or nothing to celebrate about, but hopefully here we get something new. But then, of course, the ball dropped. We all celebrated when the clock struck midnight. And then we all went home safe and sound. It was quite the party, let me tell you, but nothing newsworthy out of that one besides Opus just stealing the show once again. But unfortunately, no Powertown news as we go into 2026. No shipping, no anything. Where are we going with this? Where does this go? How long can I keep this update up? I have no idea. But it is getting beyond embarrassing. I mean, it was embarrassing a year ago. It was honestly, for me, embarrassing 2 years ago when I started calling all this stuff out. But here we are, 2026. We got to keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully we all get our money back. Hopefully we get these figures, one or the other. Just a shame on the Powertown crew. No updates at all. And I don't want to poke the bear Magnum because he'll give me the old fist to the face. He's got one more in him. I don't want it to be with me. But hopefully we get some answers once again. But we did get a little real news this week from Powertown. Hal Haney, of course, Hal Haney Art, very famous artist in the artist community, especially around wrestling. Apparently, and wasn't even aware of this, he was on retainer with Powertown, and as of the clock striking midnight after that party, I think I saw him there back by the Punch Bowl, January 1st, he is no longer contracted to Powertown. So not sure what's going on there. I didn't even know he was making art for them, but once again, I think they said, hey, we're not paying anybody, so your contract's done. So is what it is. Maybe they had to pay him $500 and say, hey, you're our artist for a year. I have no idea how that went down. But apparently he's free and clear to work with other toy companies now. Once again, another nail in Powertown. Now you don't have your artist around anymore. Are we seeing things going away? There's been talk on some of the Facebook groups and some of the message boards about some of the intellectual properties with Powertown that are expiring in March. Obviously, if you want to keep a trademark, you have to show that you're using the trademark. They haven't shown that. They've dropped some trademarks, and some other ones are expiring here in the next couple of months. It's just not looking very good, but I hope I'm wrong. We all hope we're wrong. We want Powertown figures. We want at least to get our money back. At the end of the day, though, I have a feeling we're probably not going to get anything. I've been saying it for a couple of months now. Just not feeling good about it. Just not feeling good. But that is the Powertown update. But of course, as Jerry Reed always says, with the toy news, we got a few other little things to come through, and we're going to NECA for this round. And NECA did show off. I guess they didn't show off. It's shipping out there right now. It is Tiny from House of Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. Pick your poison on that one. It's been a while since we got Otis, Captain Spaulding. Looks like Tiny. And we know what Tiny did to a stump once upon a time, Todd McFarlane. But I will be picking that one up. I've talked about my love of the Devil's Rejects especially. We'll talk more about that when that time comes. But be on the lookout for old Tiny very, very soon. Other news this week, it looks like Cosmic Legion's back in the game. Of course, we don't talk a ton of Cosmic Legions, and there hasn't been a lot of Cosmic Legion updates lately, but they are back in the game. They did show a little message with the Horsemen. It looks like we're going to get a new wave of Cosmic Legion, so that'll be interesting to see where that ends up going. I did get another cancellation from Walmart this week. What the heck are we doing, Walmart? I did get a cancellation for the Masterverse Man-at-Arms. I know people have been finding that in stores the last couple of months. For whatever reason, mine got canceled. I got my refund, and I've historically said I don't get a lot of orders canceled from Walmart, but lately I have, and in a plot twist, we talked about it last week with the turtles, they canceled it, refunded me, and then shipped them to me. So I have no idea. They gave me 4 free turtles, or more than that, it was 6 free turtles. So it is what it is. I don't know. Walmart, just Walmart things, apparently. We also saw from Jakks Simpsons line a good update tomorrow in weekly purchases about that, so stay tuned for that. But it looks like King Size Homer coming to that Jakks line. That should be fun enough. I'm all for King Size Homer. If you guys followed the Super 7 unboxings of The Simpsons on the channel, I like that figure, and that figure just blew up in more ways than one. It's like a $500 figure now. Absolutely ridiculous, but we are getting it in the Jakks Pacific line of The Simpsons. Be on the lookout for that here in the next couple of months, I guess. We also saw this week some good news for once for me and all my Sentinel drama. And let me tell you, HasLab Sentinels, X-Men 97 Sentinels, Drama City for me. I have no idea. But I did, of course, unbox that about 2 weeks ago on the channel. Talked about it in the top 5 deluxe Marvel figures for 2025 list. And I did give everybody the update. Hey, I haven't got an answer back from Hasbro because they forgot to ship one of mine. And it showed delivered, but they never shipped it. Long story short, just the other day, what did I get at my doorstep? I got it. They resent it out to me. So gotta say, Hasbro did good by me. They got me that figure. I think it came like the day after Christmas is where it came from me. So all the Sentinels are here. I got my 2 Sentinels. All is well with life once again. Something like that. And just like Todd McFarlane from the couch, Todd, nothing too crazy. It looks like January 7th, some big pre-orders going down. Detective Chimp and Zatanna, Cosmic Boy, Elongated Man, Professor Pig, Black Hawk, all going down January 7th. Be on the lookout for those. Your favorite McFarlane supplier, McFarlane Toys itself. Obviously going to be Platinum Editions, those. Hal Jordan's going to be a part of that. There's a lot of cool stuff with the McFarlane. Going to be an interesting year to follow along with Todd and crew. Where do we go from here? Last year, the DC line. I talked about it in the McFarlane Top 10, which you probably haven't seen yet, but you will. I have to imagine with them losing the DC Multiverse line, all that product, all that money going away, where does that money go to? It's like a brokerage in the grocery industry. It's very similar. The contracts come up. You're doing Hormel. You're doing whatever company. You're doing Hormel. Let's just pick on Hormel. Somebody pick on their chili. The Spam, okay, we'll pick on the Spam. If a company is representing them at retail and all of a sudden another company does it, well, that company that lost Hormel, they have all that money they were paying Hormel. They're going to put that money towards another brand to start representing. That's what we're going to see with McFarlane. They're losing DC Multiverse. Where does all that money go? To me, it seems like it would be a play for the Ninja Turtles. We talked about it last week. Playmates no longer going to have the license. Not sure if the Playmates decided they didn't want to do it anymore. If Nickelodeon said they don't want to work with Playmates anymore. But at the end of the day, it usually comes down to what? Follow the money. Always remember, follow the money. Well, McFarlane's going to have a bunch of capital coming in at the end of 2026. The Turtles line up for grabs at the end of 2026. Is that a marriage that we see together? Is McFarlane going to go all in on all the different Turtles? In some ways, it'd be awesome. You'd get a ton of product, but in other ways, it wouldn't be so awesome. You'd get a ton of product. So if you're a huge turtle collector, you're going to be getting a lot of turtles, and it's going to be basically do-over time. We'll see what ends up happening. I don't think this affects NECA. This doesn't affect any. So it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes in the future. But there's some things are going to move around. Some things are going to change. And as we say all the time, some of these smaller companies are going to fall by the wayside. It happens every single year. It's going to be an interesting 2026, and we're going to gear up for it with the toy news each and every Saturday here. So make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you're checking out the channel. So many top 10s will make your head spin. I got a podcast every single Tuesday where we dive into a lot of stuff over there as well. So check out The Kyle Peterson Show every Tuesday wherever podcasts are found, video cast on YouTube. SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, KylePetersonShow@gmail.com. And then, of course, that is my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, available where podcasts are found and on YouTube. Check out YouTube, channel memberships, check out Patreon. Plenty of stuff to keep you busy over there. Plenty of giveaways, plenty of fun stuff. And you do support the channel and all the content it does bring. A lot going on each and every single day, and a lot going on in the toy news. Let me know what you thought was interesting from this week's toy news. Who do you think gets that turtle license? What do you think about Powertown? Were you at the Powertown party? Did I miss you? If that is true, I feel bad because I like to meet everybody at these Powertown parties. I like to work the room with drink in hand. You guys know. It's a good time. It's a good time. But there it is, the toy news, the first toy news of 2026. You know what I'm doing? I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling my way into another weekend.
Come on, kid, open the door.
Good gun, man. I'm in a rave. I want Brody and I want him in a cave.
Life is life.